Good morning. I guess I'm going to be doing a lot of car videos. This is Terry Allen, Radical Progressive, and I have something really serious to talk about. Because there was a video a couple of nights ago from a organization called the LaRouche PAC, and they were interviewing Bill Binney and Richard Black, a colonel from the Marine Corps, and he is retired now, but there's information floating around that's really dangerous, and I need to talk about it. I hope more people will talk about it. But first I want to say, and I repeat this all the time because I want to try and show that I'm not really partisan. I am independent now. I was in the Democratic Party all my life since 1980, and I stopped being in the Democratic Party in 2016 when Hillary and the DNC did what they did, Donna Brazile and those around them did what they did to Bernie Sanders, because they silenced a voice because they didn't like what that voice was saying, and they didn't like the policies that voice was advocating, which was Medicare for all and free college and the things that most of the population in the United States actually want. But it goes against the donor class and the 1%, which is who the Democratic Party advocates now, who they work for, who they are subservient to. And this is a dangerous precedent. It happened again this summer. Bernie Sanders thought this time that he had made agreements with the DNC that they would not, the superdelegates would not intervene on the first ballot. Well, we never even got to the first ballot. When the convention happened a month ago, it was already decided by them who was going to be the Democratic Party nominee. And that, to me, is a big problem, because I and a lot of people supported Bernie Sanders. I was actually a Tulsi Gabbard supporter before that, because I liked exactly what she had to say, which is that we are in the Middle East for all the wrong reasons. We are in the Middle East not for humanitarian reasons, not for weapons of mass destruction, chemical weapons, different kinds of things like that. We are there for money, power, control of natural resources. That's why we are there. We are best friends with Saudi Arabia. Now, if we were there for humanitarian reasons, Saudi Arabia would be who we were bombing, not Iraq, not Libya, not Syria, not Somalia. We would be, not Afghanistan. We would be going after Israel and Saudi Arabia. And those two nations are the ones that are committing the atrocities and the genocide. You've also got genocide going in Yemen under the banner of Saudi Arabia, who we are supporting. So I wanted to make that clear. Now, Trump said something very interesting about a week ago, and I agree completely. He said, I want to get out of Afghanistan and I want to get out of Syria. But when I tried to push for that, the military-industrial complex, which is Raytheon and Boeing and General Electric and all these major corporations, that build the bombs and the cruise missiles and all of the weaponry, the hardware for the military. They went running to Congress and pleaded for them to make sure that we stayed in the Middle East and we stayed in there where we could keep bombing and using up hardware so that these major corporations could keep replacing them. I mean, you had crazy shit happening in Afghanistan. Like, we were blowing up $10 tents with $1 million cruise missiles. You know? What the hell is that all about? Well, we know what it's about. It's about money and control. So now what we've got is Biden, handpicked Biden and Harris. Here they go. The DNC handpicked them, shoved them down our throats again, exactly like they did with Hillary Clinton. And here we go again, going against everything that the American population want, because American population, 70% of the American population want Medicare for all, particularly now with this COVID crisis. They want free college for their kids. They are willing to pay taxes for that. Europe does it. As I mentioned once before about my trip to Norway, I had a chance to sit down with these employees from a company that I was being trained on some equipment with. And I was there for 3 weeks. And I had great conversations. And everybody there liked the system that they were in. They liked the fact that there weren't a bunch of homeless people roaming around with tent cities digging in trash cans. They were very happy with the fact that their kids could go to college and their tax money would go for that. They were very happy about having a socialized medical system. They were very happy with all the different social programs that they were getting for their taxes. They all had really good jobs because they have a minimum wage there. They don't have a problem with welfare and food stamps and all these other things that we have to pay for, because they have minimum wages that are living wages. So that saves the state a lot of money. That saves you a lot of taxes. We have free elementary and high schools. Nobody talks about that. What if we can't have free college, then why do we have free elementary and free high school then? Let's get rid of that too. Well, yeah, Betsy DeVos wants to get rid of all that. She wants to privatize all of that. That's just great. So anyway, here's what's going on. There are rumors right now that if this election is very close and very tight, they're going, in the Democratic Party and in the Pentagon, there are generals that are talking about a coup to overthrow Trump and to drag him out of the White House and install Biden and Harris. That is what is being talked about. Now, this video had Richard Black, like I said, a colonel from the Marine Corps, and also Bill Binney. He was the technical director. He's retired now, but he was the technical director of the NSA, and he was the one that wrote the software for their surveillance state. However, he said that he had built in filters into the software system, which pulled out only information that was pertinent or that was important about hunting down terrorists. But he said that what they did was they removed all the filters. So that means that they can save everything, all of the metadata. That's what Edward Snowden had talked about when he downloaded all the information about what was going on with the NSA. He said that it's not the phone conversation that they want. They don't get that. What they get is the metadata, which is when you make the call, who you made the call for, who you texted, what time did you wake up in the morning, What websites do you look at? What YouTube videos do you watch? He said that is what they want, because that they can keep control of the American population, and that is a dangerous precedent. And they've been doing it since 9/11. And when Edward Snowden was the whistleblower, what did? They went chasing him down, just like they did Julian Assange at WikiLeaks, and they are trying to kill the messenger. Nobody is going to jail over the illegal operations that are going on. Clapper, in front of Congress, said under oath that we are not doing any of these things. We are not collecting data on anyone. He lied under oath to Congress. And what happened to him? Nothing. Zero. Now, if you and I had done that, oh my God, we'd be hauled off to jail for life. They're trying to put Julian Assange in jail. They're trying to extradite him from England. They are trying to indict him for espionage and aiding Chelsea Manning in getting information. Now, she was pardoned by Obama. Surprise, surprise. That was a shock. But they want to put Julian Assange in jail for 175 years. Well, he won't last that long. He was in the Ecuadorian embassy for 7 years. He's been in jail in England now for a year and a half, mostly solitary confinement, because he is a publisher. Now, that's what Edward Snowden said on Joe Rogan a couple nights ago, is that this is completely different than going after whistleblowers. Now we are going after publishers. And that is a bad, bad situation. You guys should watch the Joe Rogan interview with Edward Snowden. I don't know the number, but it was only 2 or 3 nights ago. And, today is September 18th, 2020. So it was probably Wednesday. You can do a YouTube search and you can find that. You should listen to it. It's 3 hours long, but it is full of good information that you need. Now, this other video was a couple nights ago too, from the LaRouche PAC, and they have done investigating. And one of the things that I want to say is that I'm an independent. I want a third party, because this two-party system is corrupt to the core, to the bone. Both sides are financed by the same 1%, the same corporate donors, the same people that write the rules and the laws, the same people in Silicon Valley that decide who you're going to get to listen to on YouTube and watch, or who you're going to get to see a tweet from. They have the power to deplatform you, like they did Alex Jones, because they didn't like what he was saying. That's called censorship. That's against the First Amendment. When you silence people that you don't like, pretty soon anybody can silence anybody they don't like. And that is very dangerous. And that's called fascism. When corporations can decide who you're going to listen to and who you can watch and who you can see, that is called fascism. So we are already in fascism. The Democratic Party is crying about Trump is a fascist. Of course he is. Just like Biden is a fascist. Just like Kamala Harris is a fascist, because they push this agenda. Kamala Harris wanted to have Trump deplatformed off of Twitter, for God's sake. This is crazy. Now, if the military has the power to drag Trump out of office, if this election is close, even Hillary said, don't back down. She's a fascist. She's a war criminal. And we still allow her to walk free? She's part of the deep state. She's part of the swamp that Trump said he was going to drain. Nobody's been draining anything. He's been hiring the swamp. He had this insane war criminal, John Bolton. He hired him to be his foreign advisor, for God's sake. He's got Pompeo in, another war criminal. The guy that helped organize all of the coups in Central America, where they were putting in right-wing dictators, and they were had a civil war on the population. What they are also talking about doing is, when this actually goes down, they are talking about shutting off the internet and cell phones for a brief moment so that nobody knows what's going on until it's over. Well, the deep state and Wall Street and bankers and the 1% all are fawning over Biden and Harris. And because of that, I am not voting for them, because that's our enemy. And that means that if Biden gets in, he is going to cater to the 1%. He is not going to give you Medicare for all. He already said that. He will not sign that bill. He even said, it's never even going to get on my desk. He is not going to give you the free college that your kids need. He is not going to rein in the military. That's one of the reasons why the military love him. He is going to go into Syria. He's going to keep us in the Middle East. That is trillions of dollars of profits for the military-industrial complex. That's what Trump said, was that he wanted to get out of Afghanistan and Syria, but the military-industrial complex won't let him. That's why they want to overthrow him. Doesn't this make sense? What's wrong with everybody? And I'm listening to people just fawning over Biden. We got to get him in because Trump is a fascist. Well, we are already in a fascist nation. What don't you see? We have censorship. We don't have habeas corpus. Obama, in his first 4 years, he deported more Mexicans back to Mexico than Trump ever dreamed of doing. Obama was the one that built the cages on the border. He turned 2 wars into 7. He took Iraq and Afghanistan and turned them into, also you had Libya, and you had Syria, and you had Yemen, and you had Somalia. We're still in Iraq. This is nuts. But nobody even says anything about that. You've got Biden doing worse things with women and kids than Trump ever did. Sexually assaulting Tara Reid in the basement of the Capitol building. Nobody said that. The Me Too movement looked the other way. We were against Kavanaugh, but now that Biden did it, and there's even more evidence that Biden did it than Kavanaugh, and they're just looking the other way. The Me Too movement folded. So, I am not voting for Biden or Harris. These two are dangerous. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with Trump yet. If he was to pardon Assange and Snowden, I would vote for him. If he gets us out of Afghanistan and Syria, I would vote for him. I don't expect him to do anything with Medicare for all, but he did say that all Americans should be covered when he was campaigning. He said that. Now what you got with Biden is that we are going to make available Medicare or insurance, medical insurance. Well, that's nice. Yeah, we already have access to it. We just can't afford it. We've got more people now off of insurance than we ever had, because people that lose their jobs can't afford COBRA. Have access to health care? Yeah, we got access to it. We just can't get it because we can't afford it. This country is effed up. And then you've got Black Lives Matter. They were taken over by George Soros to create chaos, because you've got Antifa being taken over, creating chaos, looting, burning, so it gives them a bad name. And then they can blame it on Trump. We have, they're talking about how dangerous it was for the feds to come into these different states. Yeah, it is. But you had the same thing under Eisenhower and JFK and Franklin Roosevelt and other presidents. I think it was invoked 7 times. So this was not a precedent. So you need to watch these videos. I'm surprised they're even on YouTube. They must be under the radar, I guess. So I'm posting them on Facebook and Twitter. We need to do something about this. This is insanity that's going on. And like I said, if Wall Street and the bankers and the 1% and the military-industrial complex love Biden, then you better run the other way. Because that is the deep state. That's the swamp. That's the corruption in this country. That's the fascists. That's who's running everything. So even Michael Moore is crying about how Biden could lose. Yeah, he could lose because he's a dumbass. He's not for anything except the 1% and his donors. He's a corrupt a-hole. Kamala Harris, the same thing. She'll go after pot smokers and put them in jail. But she looks the other way for the bankers that destroy people's lives. Millions of people lost their homes under Obama. I keep saying Biden. Obama. And Kamala Harris in California. I lost my home. I lost my business under these bastards. So anyway, I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna sign off and post this today, because I am pissed and you ought to be too. So anyway, this is Terry Allen, Radical Progressive. It is the 18th of September 2020. We don't have much time. All right, take care. Good luck.